The morning after meeting with the Council of Elders, Aragorn was cleaning and oiling Saphira's saddle, careful not to overexert himself, when Orc came to visit. Book 2, Eldest, Chapter 6, Saphira's Promise, and Chapter 7, Requiem. Welcome to Aragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Paolini's inheritance cycle chapter by chapter. I'm Lucy Hart.
And I'm Darien Smart.
And
today we are joined by our very first guest.
Woo!
Not only are they a fellow podcaster, they also are an incredible fantasy-esque queer author.
Yes.
I'll let them take it from here.
Hi, I am Francesca McMahon, host of the Best Damn Camp podcast, a Percy Jackson podcast, and an author of fantasy-esque worlds, with my most recent series being a Celtic mythology exploration in modern day, sort of Percy Jackson meets BBC's Merlin.
I love
Yeah!
Woo!
And explicitly gay, not just aggressively queer-coded.
Yes, explicitly. The gay is clear as day.
That's great.
So, Fran, we're getting into these two chapters, but real quick, I'd love to just share with the audience, what is your experience with the Inheritance series?
So I'm pretty sure everyone is going to despise me the moment I say it, but my experience is reading the first couple of chapters of Eragon when I was 6. And then watching the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know the movie part.
Yeah. Ironically, I had every single one of the books. I just never read
Just
them.
in your house?
Yeah,
What?
I bought them and everything. So I had copies, and I just, for some reason, just never got round to reading
Listen,
them.
the executive dysfunction in the brain is real.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
So, dear listeners may be like, why the hell is this person on the podcast, let alone their very first guest? Well, listeners, not only is Fran a fellow Percy Jackson podcaster, but also an actual personal friend who is actually physically at my house this week because they came to visit to see our other friend and fellow Percy Jackson podcaster, Erica Ito, perform as Nessa Rose in the touring production of Wicked. So this happens to be their last day here with us, and Lucy and I needed to record this episode.
Yes.
So I was like, well, Fran is an intelligent person, a wonderful writer, a fellow podcaster who knows how to perform on mic.
Yep.
Let's just have him sit in the room with us.
Yes.
And share a mic. So if there's any slight audio weirdness, it's free content. We love you. So Fran has read these two chapters totally out of context.
Yep.
And, but also, this is a spoiler-free podcast. So these are the only two chapters we're going to be discussing up till this point anyway. So
Yep.
it's fine. It's
Yep.
fine that you don't know anything else that's going on.
It's all good.
It's all
That's great.
good. But before we get into this perhaps very experimental episode of Aragon and Back Again, do we have any sparks of inspiration we would like to share?
I got one.
Yeah. Oh, Lucy's got one. Usually I have to go first.
Usually I can think of one. I don't even know how to like verbalize a particular spark of inspiration from this, but the other day I've been wanting to desperately write something because I've been having such a hard time to write anything. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to write something, and I'm going to keep writing, and I'm just going to make a story up on the spot and not stop until it's done. So an hour later, I had 3 pages of this like short story.
Yay, Lucy!
And it was I was so glad. I almost said grad. I was so glad
Was it grateful
that
and
I
glad?
that I had written 3 pages of something, and I was like, look at the thing that I did.
You made it. You had a Geode.
Yes, and I also had there was a bunch of misspellings, and because it was I was literally just putting thoughts on there, and I was just going for it. And the only time I would backtrack if in the middle of writing a sentence my brain would switch and be like, this sounds better, and I'd go back and then rewrite it.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing. But if there was a misspelling, I didn't go back and check and blah 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 blah. And I was really happy with it. Yeah, it was basically just it started off with this woman walking through a forest and ended with her in this decrepit old temple talking to a serpent called the Deep. It was the serpent and the thing is called the Deep because it came from the Deep.
Yep.
And she promised to become its vassal, and then she walked off, and that was literally it.
Hey, Luce, that's so compelling.
Yeah. It was really interesting, and I was like, wow, that just came out of me. So I was very happy with that. Yes.
Yay!
I don't know if you want to include this. There's so many times I'm like, do you guys want to read this to like friends? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then I share it, and then they just can't get around to it. And I'm like, that's fine. It's fair.
That is, and I am 100% fully guilty of that myself. And the executive dysfunction of my brain, but that is not an excuse.
And I'm like, I don't want to like push people to read it to make it feel like an obligation. I'm like, if you guys have time, like go ahead, and they don't. I'm like, that's fine.
No, I just gotta physically pin it to my main screen.
Yeah.
Because also, like, I send every chapter of my draft that I write to Kelsey.
Yeah.
Because I started doing that when I started, and they still get to read it. And so I realized having them reading it. And not even like they're not like not like being an alpha or beta reader.
Yeah,
me, right? They're just the fact that they are reading it helps me keep going. And I realized I was not doing the same courtesy for you, Luce. And I want to apologize on mic.
It's all good
for not being a better writer friend.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, that was how when I was writing the first draft of my book, which I'm basically scrapping. Dalton was reading for me, and he was the one.
Scrapping it?
Well, no, I'm scrapping. I'm not fully. I'm like this all needs rewritten.
Okay. I was.
And I'm also
like
my draft. I'm also like cutting it in half.
Yeah.
And like I'm putting more emphasis on like the first part of it, and then the second part's gonna be, I think, how you actually you read the prologue to what is now going to be the second one with the colors and all this stuff.
Yeah, I remember being like, wait, what do you mean I don't get to hang out with these people?
And
these are my friends.
Yeah, and that is basically going to be that's the theme that's gonna carry on that book, because the first book is gonna be a little darker, a little less color, a little this, and then the second one's gonna be, and that's like my main character who her name was Jenka, and I just didn't like that in my brain for some reason, but then I pulled an old character's name from like my back burner when I wrote in like high school, and so now her name is Bryn.
Bryn is good.
I like Bryn.
Bryn sounds
and
good.
So Bryn, so it's basically represents her transformation, where she in the first book, she doesn't really know a lot, and without like spoilers, she doesn't really know a lot, and then the second book, it's like she's a rude awakening, and so it's her life was dark and now it is brighter kind of thing. That's why the series is going to be a change of heart. So
excellent. Yeah.
But
and then we also got a geode from Lucy.
Yes.
And then a geode is what we call things we have physically made. So it's
like,
inspired by Whisper of the Heart.
A Whisper of the Heart. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So when
yeah.
So when they talk about the geode and underneath is exactly.
I know. So what? So I moved.
No, you're good.
You're fine.
No, you're good. Like that's literally what we call like these rough stones that we have to reshape. So it's the geode. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to that short story or if I'm gonna like polish it up. I did go back through the next day and like fix all the typos. I think, but like. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it. Yeah, I have it. It's a thing.
Hey, Fran, do you have any sparks of inspiration?
Yes, so being here with all my friends, we watched one of my favourite movies, which was Power Rangers 2017.
Yes.
And found out it's one of Lucy's favourites as well, which has made them my new favourite person.
Yay!
Y'all. It's a fun movie.
It is a fun movie.
Everyone's like, oh, it's so bad. It's not like Power Rangers. Neither was the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and that got like 2 sequels. I don't understand why I couldn't have hung out with my friends more. Like, this was such a good movie. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. Go watch it. It was really fun.
It's such, like, I will admit, the first 15-ish minutes.
Rough.
Yeah, you could see the studio interference, but, like, literally get past that. The rest of it is a grand old time.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of inspired me a lot with, like, some of the work that I'm writing at the moment. So I'm doing my Eileen in the Other World book 2 at the moment as well, which has a lot of friendship dynamics that I need to improve in the revisions for that piece. I'm also working on a bunch of sports romances as well.
Cool.
Yeah. And
That's cool.
I am working on trying to make sure that the relationships in those are also as strong as they can be. And seeing the bonfire scene in particular in Power Rangers really helped me kind of like, okay, this is what I need to do to improve, in particular with the Freya and Eileen relationship in Eileen Book 2, but also in all of the dynamics with the friendship groups in the sport romances as well as the romance relationships also. So yeah, definitely gave a big spark there for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie. And here's the thing, like, just this one wasn't my spark, but I just want to say one more time, like, I cried. I got like genuinely emotional and was like delighted by the narrative structure.
Yeah.
And also Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks. So my spark of inspiration.
Yes.
I've already mentioned it is absolutely getting to see Wicked.
Yes.
At the Morris Center for gosh, that is the 4th time I've seen Wicked on stage. The 3rd time I've seen it at the Morrison Center.
Yeah.
But it's just a very different experience post-movie.
Yeah.
Post-Wicked movie, and seeing that and then coming back to experience the stage production again and get to really compare the stage production versus the adaptations and interrogate like those changes and whether or not like I personally find them effective, which largely I do.
Yeah.
And then also getting to see my friend, someone who the day before I did a Egyptian themed escape room with.
Yeah.
And have been on their podcast and is like someone I've slept on the floor at their house when I went to visit in New York.
Yeah.
On stage. To cheers to their performance, like,
Yeah.
and seeing because I've seen this 4 times on stage. I've seen like 5 times with the thing, people portraying this character.
Yeah.
And so very much paying attention to the different ways that Erica was portraying
Yeah.
Nessa Rose, and appreciating my friend's craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And the art that they do, and getting to see that, and then also getting to do a backstage tour.
Yeah.
Afterwards,
We got
to go backstage at the Morrison Center to see all the Wicked stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. And so that like deeply fulfilling experience of like what this has been like, Erica was my spark of inspiration in the past of like when it was first announced, and the idea of like, I know them. Like they did it. They made this thing happen, and isn't that incredible? And they're filling their dream, and like that's real and it's achievable. And like seeing that and being there with like all of my friends, and like this big event that we helped orchestrate and make happen and bring together out of like effort and time and love.
Yeah.
And it's like the best week of my life.
Oh, very good.
And so it just felt really, really good. Just seeing Erica perform, and then having Fran here, and like getting to do a writing retreat with Fran. We went to Barnes and Noble and just wrote all day, and the escape room, and just hanging out and just like being surrounded by people I love and am regularly inspired by what they do. So, and also I've got this really great Wicked
I know,
mug.
I keep eyeballing it. It looks so cool.
I never get merch because it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
But Erica let us use their discount, and also I was like, I have to get something. My friend was in this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is that.
Yay.
Let's talk about these chapters.
Yes.
Hey, Fran, I would love it if you don't mind. Will you tell us what happened in Saphira's Promise?
I will try. So I only know 2 character names. It is Aragon and Saphira.
Yep.
Which isn't great because there are lots of other characters that do feature in this, and I don't know any of their names.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, it's all good.
This is a funny. We have a guest. You'll do our summary.
Yeah, no, that's valid. So in Saphira's Promise, they are reeling from someone's death.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's like been a whole previous battle as well, so there's like a feeling of, you know, things are kind of intense.
Yep.
Something was broken, which is really important to the dwarves in this kingdom.
Yep.
And I think it's something to do with their afterlife, but I don't really know. No,
It's just like a very important cultural work of art.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
The
That
afterlife would make so much sense, but no, just a very important cultural.
Yeah.
piece.
And it's described as the heart. Where is it? I literally just saw it. It's the heart of their city. That we've been doing
Gotcha,
this,
gotcha.
but we can't remember. Yeah,
Yes.
Kind of like the vibes of like when what's the Notre Dame was on fire. and
Yes,
everyone
Yeah.
found-
yes, I think that's a great comparison.
yes.
I was thinking of like what's a good way to compare this.
Yes,
That's such a
Like
good
it's-
when
one.
that was on
yes.
fire and everyone was like, this is literally like a devastating
Yes,
loss of art.
that's
and
exactly
culture and all
what
that.
it is.
Okay,
yes.
cool,
Exactly,
cool.
exactly.
Okay, so that's been broken by
Saphira.
Saphira.
I was about to say Safina. I was like, that's wrong. And someone else, but it was like a necessary thing. And like Aragon and her are, well, Aragon is talking for her because of the whole thing. And they're talking to the king of the dwarves.
Yep.
And he is still reeling from the effects of the breaking of this important cultural artifact, and also the loss of someone who seemed to be close to everyone in the group, even though Aragon also says that he didn't know the person who died very well, but it was still a big loss.
Yes.
And so seeing that also that the Dwarf Kingdom are devastated by the loss of this important artifact, why have I forgotten her?
Saphira.
Nailed it. Saphira offers to, if they are able to put every single piece back together, including the small cracks that like could be lost easily, if it can all be put back together, she will fix it and it will be restored. And it leads to a huge celebration within throughout the whole kingdom. And it's the whole thing like we celebrate today and we mourn tomorrow, which I thought was a very beautiful moment.
Yeah.
In response to that, the dwarves throw this huge celebration, and why am I forgetting her name again? Saphira. I keep wanting to say Seraphina, which I realize is like the cat from Barbie.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's wrong. And Saphira drinks like 4 barrels of mead.
Yep.
Gets super drunk. Aragon feels her getting drunk, and then they both pass out.
Yep.
And it's quite funny. I did really enjoy just the fact that she's kind of like, yeah, time to celebrate. I'll celebrate too. And it's just good vibes. And I think that's how it ends. Is him passing out in the first bit. Do I do? The
do you want to do Requiem too? Usually we'll do both, so we can just talk back and forth.
Yeah. And then in Requiem, it's Aragorn waking up.
Yep.
Seraphina. Saphira.
There you go.
Saphira waking up with a hangover, which I thought was quite funny. But it is that they are, in a sense, rushing because the funeral ceremony is coming towards the kingdom, and it is a very solemn affair, of course, because it is a loss of someone's life. Aragorn commenting on the fact that while he didn't know him well, it was a he, wasn't it?
Yes. His name is Ajahad. He was the leader of the rebellion.
Gotcha. And even though he didn't know him well, he was respectable and like good person and all that sort of stuff. And
we were big fans of Ajahad.
Yeah. And like he notes that this is a tragedy. It's like it's a very solemn affair. And as some people who knew him better than most got to see him as he was being lowered down. There was a commentary from Aragorn of just like, we will make sure that it continues on after you are gone, and with his daughter taking on I will let you say the name. Carrying on the something or other,
like the mission.
The mission, that's it.
Yeah.
The mission. And there was something else that happened, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was general commentary about, that there was someone else's funeral that was, in a sense, part of this because they couldn't have a proper one.
Yes.
And also general commentary, which I quite liked, about the ritual elements of dwarven funeral sessions. And the fact that even though
Ajahad,
nailed it.
Isn't a full dwarf?
He's not a dwarf at all.
He's not a dwarf at all. Okay. He is still being given the respect of the same. So he won't have the exact same funeral, like where they're encased in stone.
Yeah.
But he will get close enough because they are showing a huge level of respect to him because of what he has done for their kingdom and for everyone. And it was a really nice read.
Yeah. What a fun one to be like, hey, you don't know anything that's going on here. Read these 2. Read these 2 chapters.
Yep.
And they were not bad.
No. I like these 2 chapters a lot. I like
They're
the
very
potential of Saphira's promise a lot.
Yes. Absolutely. Loved it. There was something, I don't even remember where it was, and I don't know if I want to jump into this. There was something that Aragorn did that felt a little Mary Sue-like.
Oh, really?
And I didn't like it.
What?
And I don't know what it was, but...
I think I know what you mean. And I don't know if it could be different.
Yeah.
But it's when it's the opening line of chapter 7 where he's given a specific name by the person who's waking him up, Nullheim or something like that.
Nullheim.
And then the person who said it acts like he didn't say that at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's going to be some like special thing where like, you are another chosen one of some kind.
Yeah.
I just call him Stonehead. Because he's been trying to wake you for almost an hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I saw that and I was like, does that mean that? Or
yes.
It does? Oh,
yeah.
Yep. He's making fun of him because he's
He's trying, he can't wake up.
Okay, no, I thought that was going to be just like,
no,
totally
you're
lied
good.
because he's an actual it's a different chosen one thing.
Yeah.
I think it impacted me because of our last talk and raising of the House of Night novels, where Zoe is like, Lord, or like, Goddess, please let me say the right things. And then she says the right things, where Aragorn has Saphira to be like, what do I say? And she goes, say this. And it's the right thing to say. I think that's what got me. But I think it was like very minor. And I think I wouldn't have thought of that if I didn't have our discussion last recording.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's also like, it's different because it's like Saphira is like, we've got the establishment of like, she is like inherently very wise.
Yes.
And insightful because she is a dragon and is magic. And so tends to be the one that Aragorn's like, what should I say? And it's so funny that he gets to be like, what should I say? without anybody knowing,
Without
he's asking
anyone knowing,
Saphira
yes,
for,
yeah.
for back and forth.
I like it. But I do like Hrothgar ends up giving him the armor.
Yes,
like,
as a
fully
gift.
giving it to him instead
Yeah.
of like, oh, borrow this armor, we're about to go to battle and you need to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I do like that it doesn't really have any strings because the dragon armor is being treated likewise. And when it's restored, Saphira may use it as long as she wishes or until she grows out of it,
Yeah.
which I really liked.
Mhm.
It's very like in this like place where Aragon and Saphira are like have political like lines and
Yes,
stuff and
and we've
strings
seen-
where Hrothgar is giving him this gift with literally no strings attached.
No,
and I
it's-
really like that.
Yeah, I think for the dwarf, because they gave it to them at the start of the battle, being
Yes.
like, "Hey, you need armor for this fight. It's really dangerous." And then after this point, being like, it's like almost as if I'm saying like, "You've earned this.
Yeah,
this is yours
absolutely.
now. It would be wrong to take it back because you have fought in it." And also, Saphira needs it.
Yes, for sure.
And then the little hint of like until she outgrows it, because dragons just never stop growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
She just never is gonna stop growing.
Yep.
So it's like they know this like wonderful gift is not a forever gift because she
Yeah.
just one day won't
Just
need
won't
it.
fit it.
Probably sooner than you expect. It's like kids in shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do like how her growing has, I think, slowed at this point, like when
Mhm.
she was just hatched. And
Yeah.
it was like very speed, and now she's slowing, but it will never stop.
Yeah.
There was something that and this could just be me not knowing too much about like the dynamics with this character, with the king character. But when they mentioned about the arm, it was the king who mentioned about the armor, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I was just second guessing myself for a second. Was that it was almost like when he said all of that, and then Aragon and Saphira have this conversation in like between the two of them in their heads of like, how much should we tell him about,
Yeah.
why he should vote for the
Nasuada.
that's the one, to be in power, and how much should we keep to ourselves. It was kind of like it gave that vibe to me of like the reason why they were considering telling him a bit more is because of the fact that he's shown that respect of like, we will
Yes.
give you this
Yeah.
armor for free because you
Absolutely.
need it.
I think I love this. Saphira says, "He's always treated us fairly, but
Yep.
we can't know what he may have promised other people. We best be cautious until Nasuada actually takes power."
Yep.
Because context, they are already vowed that they're going to support Nasuada as the new leader of the Varden, the rebellion group. But they've also sweared fealty to her personally,
Yep.
which is a whole like political machinations because the council who like runs the Varden wanted him to swear fealty to the Varden. So they would still technically have power over him, but he instead is going to swear to her. And that's like why
Gotcha.
it's like we don't want to tell him, we don't want to necessarily tell the king that we've done that.
Yeah.
But we do, but they do genuinely believe Nasuada will be a good
good
person
leader.
to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
the Varden after her father.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
So I like, and I also like that, like this other element of Aragon and Saphira's place in this like political back and forth because they are a writer and what they represent.
Yes.
And so Hrothgar, king of the dwarves, going to them and asking, "What do you think
Their
about
opinion.
her? Like, is this like?" It's like he's already heard like this is who the council is going to put forth. Like, why do you support her?
Yeah.
Like, is this like basically being like, are you just like the council?
Yeah.
Where you think you can gain power and take advantage of her because
Mhm.
she's still rather young?
Yeah.
Or do you sincerely think she will be a good leader?
Yeah.
And the king going to Aragon and Saphira to ask this is like also another indicator that this is not just you're going to learn magic and you're going to fight. It's like, no, you are an active participant in
Yep.
shaping the political powers of this world.
Absolutely. Yep. And then I do like how when Aragon explains like the reason why they're supporting her is I think her wise and canny beyond her years. She will be good for the Varden.
Mm-hmm.
And when Hrothgar says, "And that is why you support her?" Yes. And he goes, "That relieves me. There has been too little concern lately with what is right and good and more about what will bring individual power. It is hard to watch such idiocy and not be angry." And so I like how Hrothgar's basically like, we're on the same page. Like he's unsure of how Nasuada will be, but he is reassured that because Aragon's supporting him is just based like what you were saying is like he's supporting Nasuada because of who she is and not what she could be,
Or what Aragon could gain from her
from
position.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, and then the other big thing is the star sapphire,
Yep.
which is the name of the, which is is the star rose's demise.
Yep.
It's not star sapphire, the star rose, and the I like that. I appreciate the comparison of it being like Notre Dame because it was
Yeah.
like it's seems kind of silly almost that the dwarves care so much that this, it's a piece of artwork, but it was destroyed by Saphira and their elf friend Arya. They crashed through it to get to Aragon when he was about to be killed by a shade in the last book. And so the distraction saved Aragon's life and allowed him to take advantage of the situation and killed the shade.
Yep.
So it almost, for a reader, would seem very like, okay, yeah, they broke this thing, but like, it worked out. So like, why do you care so much? But like being able to like anchor that in like this, I was looking, like I said, for a real world comparison to communicate like that this isn't ridiculous, that they are upset, that they are not like angry or demanding Aragon and Saphira replace it.
Yep.
Because they do recognize it was done necessarily. Like the action, the cost was high, but it was a cost that they are not going to argue was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But Saphira still feels regret for destroying something that was so precious to these people. Yep. Like, she's deeply empathetic for this loss and does take responsibility for it.
Yeah. I kind of like that there was the moment of, like, Aragon being almost surprised that he is regretful of it. It's true that she is also, and again, this could be just me only misremembering the little bit that I read when I was a child.
Yeah.
Is that she kind of is learning from him as well. So she is learning empathy and, like, how to recognize the emotions of other people, whereas beforehand she may not have done that if she wasn't bonded with a human.
The passage he sensed several emotions in her, but what surprised him the most was her remorse and guilt. She truly regretted the Star Rose's demise, despite the fact that it had been required. And that's where she goes on, "Little one, help me. I need to speak to Hrothgar. Ask him, do the dwarves have the ability to reconstruct Istar Mithram out of the shards?" And then he's like, okay, tell him, if Istar Mithram were put together again, not one piece missing, I believe I could make it whole once more. And I love, he argues like, well, hold on, you just can't even control your magic. Like, how do you know you'll be able to do this? And she's like, I can do it if the need is great enough. It'll be my gift to the dwarves. Remember Brom's tomb. Let that wash your doubts away. And close your mouth. It's unbecoming and a king is watching.
I like that.
Like sometimes their vibe is like very like big sister. It's like, shut your mouth. King is watching.
Yep.
But the fact, I think that's right. The fact that he's surprised that she feels remorseful for the destruction of this cultural artifacts. And he is surprised by that because it's like, she's also very, like we talked about, she's very, dragons are cat-like.
Yeah.
Cats don't feel guilt. Cats don't feel remorse. Yeah. But Saphira is not an animal. She is an intelligent being.
Yeah. And I feel like also she is someone who will do something. Like, I feel like she's done things in the past where Aragorn's like, what the hell? And she's like, it was necessary. It was necessary. Why should I feel guilty about it? It was necessary to keep you alive. Like, I don't. So this is the fact that she's actually remorseful for something that she had to do to save him.
Yes.
Is like it's like, whoa, okay,
she doesn't
all right.
apologize for it because she thinks she's like, it is necessary. I'm not going to apologize. It wasn't wrong to do.
Yes.
But I regret that the action has caused pain. I can fix that pain. And
I do think that's like growth on her part because I think she is learning from the people around her, especially Aragon, because they have such a close bond.
Mm-hmm. So, and Aragon is very like empathetic.
Oh, he very much is.
I think you're right. He totally learns that from.
I kind of really got that vibe just because of that thing of just like when she is drunk and he is feeling the effects of her being drunk, that he speaks in that drunken voice.
Yeah, so good.
It's clear that there is this like swap of different elements of each other's personalities are kind of merging into the other.
Yeah,
and that's why I was like, oh, if she's not felt this before, it must be because of Aragon, because she is gaining his empathy and he is gaining like her strength and also her aloofness sometimes.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I think let's just jump to the party because that's so funny. It's so fucking
such a good
funny.
It's a really good scene.
Yep.
And the dwarves, they want to celebrate because it gets spread that Saphira is going to, and I like how they use the word heal. They're going to heal the star. And I really like that because they call it like
communicates the emotional depth.
Absolutely.
That they
and I mean,
revere.
like, we're not in the next chapter yet, but they do call it the crystal graveyard. Like, it is something that has died, not necessarily like broken or something.
Yeah.
So I do like how they're like, oh, they'll heal, they'll make it better kind of thing. So I really like that. But all the dwarves get super, super excited about it, and then they get drunk.
I love
everyone drinks.
They bring Aragon a drink, and then Saphira's like, well, I also want to try. So she has a sip of mead Finding she liked it, the dwarves rolled out a whole barrel for her. Delicately lowering her mighty jaws through the cast opening, she drained it with 3 long draughts, then tilted her head towards the ceiling and belched a giant tongue of fire. It took several minutes for Aragon to convince the dwarves that it was safe to approach her again. But once he did, they brought her another barrel, overriding the cook's protest, and watched in amazement as she emptied it as well.
Yep.
Just these dwarves like rolling these barrels back out with these giant blue dragons.
Yep. I also want to mention, because like right before that, because you read that it took them a while to like actually approach her again. This is a sign of respect that we haven't seen from the dwarves before, where they bow and they kiss the ground at Saphira's feet.
Yeah.
Which is like a really interesting, it's like, okay, that's how they just like show so much, because Auric does it first.
Yes.
When they tell Auric, and then
this deep reverence.
Yeah, and then tells everyone else, and it's like the dwarves really have been treating her as like this non-entity necessarily.
Yes, like we talked about the first time Auric interacts with her, they treat her like she is a large horse almost, and Auric has to correct that and begin addressing Saphira.
Absolutely.
And so for them to show this reverence, for it to get spread out that not Aragon has not promised to do this.
Yes,
Saphira has promised to do this.
Yes. So I really, really like that. But then, she gets super drunk.
And
then I like,
singing.
they have the blurred stuff and the singing. Yeah.
The dwarves began to sing together. Weaving as she stood, Saphira hummed along, punctuating each line with a roar. Aragon opened his mouth to join in and was shocked when, instead of words, out came a snarling rasp of a dragon's voice. That, he thought, shaking his head, is going too far. Or am I just drunk? And then he decided it did not matter and proceeded to swing boisterously, dragon's voice or not.
I like that.
And I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. I also love that Saphira tries to bow.
Yes.
And then just
then falls and just passes out.
Yep.
Which means Aragon passes out as well.
Yep, absolutely. And I do like how Auric, after the celebration has come in, Auric stands on the table once again and says, "At last we celebrated as is proper. The Urgles are gone, the shade is dead, and we have won."
Yes.
And I like that because it's like, if not for the devastation of the star, then this is what
they're supposed to do. They're supposed to celebrate after a
Yes.
victory,
And
and
so,
they haven't been able to because of this loss.
Yes,
and then
so,
also like Ajahad's death, so shortly
Yes,
after hit them
absolutely.
hard. So getting to have this moment of celebration is so important.
Absolutely.
And then we go into Requiem.
Yep. And it starts with Aragon waking up.
Aragon waking up. At least it's
not
someone
gonna be a
else.
thing.
It's just, it's not. Listen, we didn't make this happen. Paolini made this happen. Okay.
It's like, out of all of them, I'm like, okay, I can see this.
This one's funny.
This one's
fine.
This
one's
okay.
fine. It's someone else making fun of Aragon. Yeah, calling him Nullheim Stonehead because he's been trying to wake him for an hour because he's so severely hungover. They're still in the the Great Hall.
Yeah,
because they were just like they couldn't move. Well, they couldn't move Saphira.
Yeah,
so they weren't going to try to move Aragon away from her. So they just left them both sleeping under the table, basically.
Yeah, and I do like how Aragon is like, "Oh, was anyone hurt when she fell?" Aragon asked Aragon, concerned. A hearty chuckle exploded from the dwarf's thick chest. Only those who dropped off their seats from laughing so hard. A dragon getting drunk and bowing at that. I'm sure lays will be sung about it for decades.
Oh, poor Saphira.
And Saphira's like, dang it. Because it's like, she is one of the, like, currently, like, as of what we know right now, is Saphira is the only dragon that is not caught under Galbatorix's reign, and she's supposed to be this like symbol of good and dragon and then this is the story that's gonna be told of her.
But she's also so vain and prideful that like getting caught doing something silly and ridiculous is just an ego death for this poor dragon.
No. Yeah, I like how Saphira shuffled her wings and looked away primly.
It's like, I don't know. It's like a cat. When you see a cat and they try to jump up on a windowsill and they totally miss and they eat it and they realize you saw that. Yeah. They just sit there like they meant to be on the floor the whole time and pretend like nothing happened because like, I saw you.
Yep. I kind of do like the opening of this where it's a kind of a little humorous and then it goes into
what this chapter is.
So I like that.
Mm-hmm. Fran, you clocked a thing that I also really liked. The like examination of death ritual.
Yes,
is really good. They're going out. They get dressed in the regalia. They're going out to meet Auric again, and they're going to Troncheim's south gate.
Yep.
We must start from there, he explained, moving with surprising speed on his stocky legs, because that is where the procession with Ajahad's body stopped 3 days ago. His journey to the grave cannot be interrupted, or else his spirit will find no rest. And then Aragon reflects on how, in Carvajal, people were usually buried on their farm, or if they lived in the village, in a small graveyard. The only rituals that accompanied the process were lines recited from certain ballads, and a death feast held afterwards for relatives and friends. And so I just love examinations of ritual in this world, because it makes the world real. Like, there are people who live here.
Yep.
They've created rituals for a lot of different things, but like death rituals and an examination of grief
Yes.
is very interesting. We talked about it way back when Garo died in the first book, and like the elements of that, and then a little bit in the last chapter when Rowan is upset that Aragon left before Garo was even buried.
Absolutely.
And so this one here, the idea that Ajahad's spirit will not find rest if there is any interruption between where he started and taking his body to the grave.
Yep. Absolutely. I really like it.
I don't know what that means. Like, what do they mean by interruption?
I feel if the procession has to stop is what I would think. If they
It's
have
almost
to
kind of they have to keep moving.
Yeah, so like if they started and then Saphira and Aragon joined them later, they would have to stop to get like reorganized.
Oh, okay,
kind of
okay. So
thing.
once it's from here to the end, they cannot stop.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I
kinda
was
what I
like,
was
but you already
thinking.
stopped 3 days ago. That's just where they left the body to be prepared. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense.
That was my thought process as well. Just like, and in my head, I was just like, thinking of how it worked. Of just like they have hit the thing that is pulling his body. They have people who maybe are on like a night shift for it. So they're sleeping in another like
Yeah.
I can't think of the word. A thing that people that is carried on horses and has a I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you know what
I feel
I
like
mean.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I can't think of the word either.
Yeah. And they're just in there, and then when the people who are currently pulling it during the day need to swap out, they're woken up, they swap round, so they
That
never
makes
stops
sense.
moving.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea of it, just like you never want a spirit to stop.
Yeah.
Because then they're stuck.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then he asks, like, where is he going to be buried? And essentially, like, there's a place where all the dwarves are buried. It's sealed in stone, but that's only for dwarves. And they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But they have so much respect for Ajahad that they have set a special place aside for him to be buried with the same level of honor.
Yeah.
And in a place where the Varden can visit without humans going to these places where they're not allowed.
Absolutely.
And then we get this, which is like huge, and we recognize that that is a big honor for the king to bestow upon Ajahad, who is human.
Yep.
And then Aragon mentions that your king has done much for the Varden. And Oryx says, some think too much. And that's a sprinkle of like, there is discontent among the dwarves who aren't super jazzed with how much King, because Troncheim, the city they're in under a mountain, is a dwarven city, and the dwarves have like given the Varden, this human rebels, like this place to be in and stuff. So we are like given hints here and there that not all of the dwarven clans are super jazzed about this. They don't all agree with, but like the majority of them do, because Hrothgar could not act if he didn't have their support. But we get a little bit of like concern that if, like more of the political stuff, if something were to happen, if they were to lose Hrothgar as their ally, it would be detrimental to the entire like rebellion in the Varden, because not everyone is jazzed about what he's done for the Varden, and like someone who would take his place may not be willing to continue doing that.
Yep.
I think that helps like set up, like we are constantly aware that every situation is delicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, it's interesting that like the seeds put in. Like obviously knowing that like Paolini was maybe 16 when he was writing.
Yeah,
the
15,
sequel.
16.
He's 15, maybe a little bit older.
Yeah,
It was a
like
couple years
17.
between.
Yeah.
17, 18. That he has that level of like to feed that stuff
Yeah.
in. Like obviously you can tell like bits and pieces of it that like this was someone who was young.
Yeah.
And like that's not a knock on him.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it's
no.
an incredible feat to
Absolutely.
be able to write
Yeah.
and have the patience to write.
Yes.
Because it was like 3 books for a long period of time, and there's been more that's been added on in like recent
Yeah.
years, isn't there?
4.
Oh, 4.
But it did take a while for
The last one
2
to
to come
come
out.
out, yeah.
Okay, so it was the first. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So the fact that like he was able to do all of this so young, and still have a level of detail that you see within the books is very impressive.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like we comment that on a lot, like as much as we razz on
Yeah.
Paolini for like some of the choices, like writing choices and stuff like that. It's like, no, the fact that he had the patience to write this
Yes.
Yeah.
is
And it's a chunk of
incredible.
wherewithal,
Because I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't have like when I was first reading this, I've already talked about it on here, but for Fran, I had such a hard time reading this second book. I couldn't do it. Like I had such a hard time getting in all the little details. So
Yeah.
that was how like these series were like one of the first I got on cassette tapes to listen to because I couldn't read it at all. And so that was like, I'm like, I couldn't read it, let alone write like this at 15.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. So it's incredible that he did that.
I think we tease a lot about how, like, there's that Lord of the Rings influence.
Yeah.
There's that Star Wars influence. There's that Dragonflight,
Yeah.
Dragon Riders of Pern
Yeah.
influence. Because it's all very prominently there. But they've also, this is, when he was young and writing this, a young person who was incredibly, like, well-read
Absolutely.
in the genre.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then was able to take that to construct something that was equally well constructed
Yep.
in the genre. And I
Yep.
think that's what we talk about in, like, the spark of inspiration. And so many writers talk about, if you want to be a good writer, you should be a good reader.
Yes.
You should read
Yep.
and take in and learn and examine, like, how do other people construct these worlds?
Yeah.
And, like, take that as, like, a lesson in how to do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
But it's a funeral, and it's
Yep.
a bummer. And we see Nasuada, like, at her father's funeral. We see Arya and Hrothgar and the elders.
Yep.
And they do this long walk.
And it's accompanied by, I like how they're waiting together. They waited though for what Aragon knew not, because he doesn't know the process of this.
Yeah.
And then the drums the drums start, and that's what starts the procession. And then they begin this like long walk, and then that's when they pass through the chamber where Isidar Mithram was shattered.
Yeah.
And like I said before, like they call it the crystal graveyard, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
It gives
And
that level of reverence to it.
yeah, absolutely.
There's
and
a
then-
gong sounding as they go.
throughout the whole thing. I really like that. And then they finally reach the place where Ajahad is going to be
Mm-hmm.
placed. I think would
Laid
be
to
the
rest?
best way. Laid to rest, yes.
Mhm. And there's a runes carved into the center on the platform in the crypt is the
Yep.
other word they use. May all Nurlan humans and elves remember this man, for he was noble, strong, and wise. Gantera Aruna?
I think that's right.
And I don't know what that one means.
Nope.
But yeah, just to, again, more respect, more reverence, because it is so important. Like, Ajahad's leadership of the Varden has allowed the, like, first cracks of hope, or first hope against overturning Galbatorix's rule. Like, it was under him, through working with Brahm and Arya, that they were able to get the egg. They were able to get Saphira's egg in the
Yep.
first place. And Brahm killed Morzan,
Yep.
but he fought the Shade. He did all these great things. He helped keep the Varden together all these years. Another thing he mentions that, Fran, you clocked, is that Aragon was gripped by an overwhelming sense of sorrow, his anguish compounded by the fact that he considered this as much Murtag's funeral as Ajahad's. And Murtag was his buddy, who died in the same, got jumped by some fucking Urgles
Yep.
in the first chapter of this book.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they killed Ajahad, and they had his body, but they drug Murtag and some other dudes away and then threw them down into a cavern, essentially.
Yep.
And so there's no body to be buried, no funeral to hold here. But also, Murtag was the son of Morzan, who is essentially what's a good comparison? I don't know. He's a bad dude who turned against the Riders and supported Galbatorix.
He was basically one of the Nazgul, Sauron.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Kind
He
of
was
that. But
considered
he was
one
a
of,
human guy,
yeah.
dragon rider, but
Not he wasn't
He was a
forced.
traitor, so-
Yeah, he
he
wasn't
was a traitor who
yeah.
helped the corrupt king come to power.
Yep.
And so everyone instantly doesn't trust Murtag, because your dad sucked. Also, you did grow up in Galbatorix's court. And that does concern us.
Yep.
And Murtag's like, I hate that guy. I don't want to support him. I don't really believe the Varden's going to be successful either, but he's looking for place. He's best friends with Aragon. We love Murtag.
Yes,
It sucks.
Murtag.
We are
Murtag's great.
he's best boy, our best friend.
Yep.
It's a bummer. So I so Aragon having that moment of like viewing this as a funeral for his friend, who was not going to get the same level of like
Not at all.
ostentarity and stuff, because Murtagh was very young and like mistrusted and not in the position where, but you have the idea that like where he was, the path he was on, could have earned it, especially with he was working so hard to gain Ajahad's trust.
Yes, he
and
was
wanting
working
to be
very hard
part
to
of that.
be-
You could
yeah.
see there was potential for him to become a like valued part
Yeah,
of the
because he
Varden.
was part of he volunteered to go with Ajahad to kill off the Urgles that got away.
make sure there were none like lurking in the tunnels around
Yep.
the city.
Also, I looked it up. Guntera Aruna means Guntera blessed, and then I tried to find out who Guntera was, and I can't remember, and it's not in here. So
Is it a dwarven god?
it
Probably.
might be a dwarven
okay.
god. I tried to look up the names, and it doesn't say. No, because there's like a list of names or pronunciation.
Yeah, you're right. I forget.
But
there's a
glossary.
there
or
is a
whatever.
glossary. I always
Pronunciation guide and glossary.
Damn. Okay. So, and I also clocked the order in which individuals were allowed to gather.
Yeah.
And the fact that obviously, like, Nasuada is first.
Yep.
Probably members of the council are second in certain order. Arya is fourth. And then Aragon and Saphira are fifth.
Mm-hmm.
And as Fran clocked, you mentioned how he's like, he doesn't know Ajahad very well. He only knew him for a few days before
Yeah.
the battle took place. And then he was off like looking and then got killed. So it's like not necessarily like the other ones are indicative of the level of closeness that they had with Ajahad. This represents the level of respect Aragon and Saphira have
Yeah.
in the Varden and this place that they are expected to be. They should be given a place of honor to pay their respects
Yep.
to the fallen leader, to kind of communicate their commitment to the cause.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
feel.
Also, probably their position within the cause as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's like
Pretty
it would be
much.
bad form if someone who is like Aragon and Saphira are quite high up in like what's the word? And the fact like if they weren't there, the rebellion would probably have more issues right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
absolutely.
like a level
absolutely.
of reverence. So just like you
Yeah.
need to kind of, even if they weren't close, is a sort of like it's almost like a political respect thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I like the very end. I mean, it's just sad. It's just really
It's
sad.
really sad.
And then the end with Nasuada being able to like hold her father's hand one last time, and then she, with uttering a pained groan, she began to sing in a strange wailing language, filling the cavern with her lamentations. Then came 12 dwarves, who slid a marble slab over Ajahad's upturned face, and he was no more. Listen, there's a lot of chapters that start with Aragon waking up,
Yeah.
but Paolini knows how to end a fucking chapter.
Yeah.
He knows how
Yeah.
to end a scene. That's oof.
And I actually like
I could hear the stones
yeah,
scraping
scrape-
over the tomb.
Absolutely. And what I really like about that too is I think Fran, you mentioned it earlier, or I think it was both of you combined, where you talked about the different like the funeral descriptions, and then I think Darien, you went into like describing like Aragon's like how he knows funerals is, and how this is like real people with real worlds with real customs.
Yeah.
And Nasuada and her father Ajahad weren't raised or like in the Varden in this area.
Yeah, they're not.
They're from somewhere else, but they've been very mum about it. Like they don't really talk about.
Yeah, they're not from Allegasia.
Yeah, they don't
They're
talk
from
about.
somewhere
Yeah,
else.
they're from somewhere else, and so this is a peek at I feel their culture.
Yeah, her
and how,
whatever this song is.
whatever like her representation of what her culture would do in a funeral. And I really like, because I feel like just from on the description of like it's an unknown language, no one knows what this is.
Like
and
he's
I
not recognizing
like
it as
that.
dwarf or
Yes.
elf, or
Yeah.
it's not the ancient
Yes,
language, which
it's-
is elves. They speak the
yeah.
ancient language. It's not. Yeah, it's something. It's some other
else.
human language that he's not familiar
and I
with.
love that. I really do.
I really like that as well, and it was why it's like initially I was kind of like, oh, I'm a little disappointed that we're not being able to hear what she's saying.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just like he's just kind of guessing how it
Yeah.
sounds, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I was kind of like, well, I guess it makes sense if he doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
what she is saying or what she's singing or what she's doing
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
as well, except in a sense singing with grief.
Yeah.
Some sort of like, is this a specific song to her father? Is this a traditional ballad? Like
Yeah.
we don't know,
Yeah.
but like the emotion
is there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was kind of like the whole thing. Like if it was it, like I wanted it to, and then I was like, actually no, you know what? If it was written down, it would have taken away
a
the,
little
Yes.
bit.
the mystery of it as well.
Absolutely. And I think that you mentioned mystery, and I think that fits with the pair anyway, because their past is very mysterious. They were very mysterious people.
Yeah, we don't even know who Nasuada's mother is. That's
yeah.
never been mentioned. Like Aja had just showed up to the Varden with his young daughter.
Yep. And so, yeah, I think that really tracks. Really, really good chapters, very much so.
So, what is a writing takeaway we can pull from this? So it's like basically our like writing tip, some lessons, some like sometimes it's like, hey, this was a really well constructed thing and we want to like uplift that. And sometimes if there's a thing we had a lot of criticism for, it can be like a
don't do
that. Why doesn't that work? So I liked the death ritual. Because we don't get, because again, we talked about like the procession has to continue or his spirit won't find rest, but that's not given like a deep explanation. Like Auric doesn't go on to give us a lot of lore about that. We don't get a lot of like history about why they believe that or what that is. We got to speculate about it and that was fun, but I think it's speculation that made it real. Or like in Carvajal, like, people are buried and there's a feast and there are certain ballads, but he doesn't like tell us what those ballads are or things like that. Just thinks about how they exist factually and how this small element makes the world realer. So like remembering the importance of ritual of any sort in life. And potentially like if identifying opportunities to introduce ritual. Not necessarily write a whole scene about it, right? Not necessarily like give us a crash course history lesson about it, but acknowledging that ritual exists in some way.
I like that. I think I would add too is it doesn't have to be the same. And I feel like if you make rituals different in like certain parts of like your world or your country, it makes it real.
Because the comparison between the dwarves and the people of Carvajal, not humans, just the people of Carvajal,
and that how that differs. Like, because we've been to the ocean cities. I can't remember the name. Tirum, I think, is one of the ones on the coast or something. But it's like they could send off their dead into the ocean as like a representation of what the ocean gives them. They represent by not necessarily giving back, but so I mean, it could, and we just don't know that, I'm guessing, but like that makes it real. And different people like have different rituals, celebrate different things, celebrate different ways. So I really like that.
Absolutely.
I also kind of like the level of the fact that there is not too much detail, because that's like a thing that some writers can fall into the trap of like just saying too much.
Info dump.
Especially considering like in World, someone would not go into intense detail of like the level of things.
Absolutely.
Especially someone who's like, it's happening at this point in time. They're not going to give you a history lesson. It's
they're
just it's going on. We don't need to tell you this. This is just the basics. And I like that this is something that he did where there's not too much detail with it, but there's enough that like we were speculating about what's going on with it, so it gets the reader wondering what other aspects of it there are, but also enough to understand the reverie behind it as well. And the emotional weight of the moments.
Absolutely.
And then for our every episode I'm like, I'm gonna call it something different. I'm not. So for your homework assignment for this week, I would love to hear examples of death ritual, be it fictional, something you've read in this narrative or a movie or something like that, or perhaps real world death rituals from like your culture or like historical cultures. The first two that kind of popped up for me in Star Trek, when they just send Spock's body into space at the funeral. It's kind of sort of buried at sea, but with space. And then that also made me think of the Old Norse funerals, where the Viking pyres specifically are then like even on a boat.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Where they're on a pyre and being that kind of like reverence and back to the earth and the ashes and things like that. Also, in the Shadowhunters books, when a Shadowhunter dies, they have this underground city where like all of the knowledge and the artifacts are kept, and it is called the City of Bones. And it is quite literally built out of the bones of Shadowhunters, because they are inherently magical because they are blessed by an angel, and so their bones protect the city.
Wild.
It's fucking edgy as hell. It's edgy as hell.
Yeah.
We don't like it doesn't come back. It's just a thing introduced in the first book, and
Yeah.
you kind of wonder all these books and years later. It's like, Claire, would you still do that today? That hasn't come back.
Yeah.
And we even saw a character. Well, actually, no, it did come back. A character does die in one of the later series, and then they have like a fire burning pyre, and
Yeah.
then her bones will be collected to be sent to the
Okay.
city. So
Yeah.
that's not true. It's still part of it.
Yeah.
But
I have one.
yeah.
I feel like I've talked about Six of Crows in our last one, but
But it's good.
yeah. So they have this saying throughout the entire 2 books, and it's no mourners, no funerals.
Mhm.
And it's because there are no funerals, there are no mourners. When
Yeah.
you die, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
there's no one there to like see you off or send you off or anything.
Uh-huh.
And it's like it because like I think it's Matthias, he's like this like person who wasn't in the city that comes into the city and gets very involved with this gang. There's this whole thing where they talk about like, oh, what's the best way to steal a man's wallet, and they go, oh, a knife between the blades, like this, and they talk about like killing the person, and Matthias goes, you all are insane.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't understand this. But Matthias finally asks, why do you say no mourners, no funerals? And it's like a good luck charm, and it's to remind them like do your best and not die.
Don't fuck
because
up.
if you die,
There's no one's going to
yeah.
mourn your loss.
And it's also at the same time it's very hypocritical because these 6 are so close.
Yeah.
They are friends and they don't want to admit it, but
Yeah.
they are very close. They would mourn each other.
Yeah.
And they might even hold like a small funeral.
Yeah.
Or in Kaz's case, I don't think Kaz would do anything because he's a bastard. So.
He would be
But-
pissed if they did hold a funeral.
Yeah,
for him. What do you mean
like-
you're wasting resources?
Yeah, and then I feel like if he was completely alone, he would mourn, but there's no way he would do it like in front of anybody.
No.
Yeah,
no.
absolutely not. But that's something that came to me where like, what's your favorite ritual? Well, that isn't a ritual.
But
it
it's
kind of
part
is.
of like built into the idea,
Exactly.
because it's not just like it's not those 6 saying that we
Yeah.
wouldn't do this for each other. That's like the world they live
yes,
in.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's very
It's
cool.
communicating like greater, the idea of like the relationship with death is just like it's an ending and we aren't going to think about you anymore.
And it's part of their life in
It's a
Ketterdam.
hard life.
Yep, absolutely.
The one I think just because Percy Jackson reference.
Yeah.
Is that whenever someone dies at camp, specifically Camp Half-Blood, I don't remember how they do it at Camp Jupiter. I don't actually know if we know how they do it at Camp Jupiter. But in Camp Half-Blood, they burn the shroud of the cabin that the person was from on a funeral pyre.
Jason. We see Jason's
yes, we
funeral
do.
at Camp Jupiter.
We do.
It's a pyre.
That's the one. Yes. Okay. But specifically for Camp Half, because I do actually really, I like the Jason one as well because that was a really interesting.
But
thing.
that scene was largely like Apollo doing the tale.
Yes.
Yeah. But the shrouds.
The shrouds, yeah. So specifically the representation of the cabin that they are from and their godly parent is burned on a fire, and they all the campers and all the kids basically just stand in almost like a moment of silence
Yeah.
as they watch as the shroud slowly is burnt up by the fire, and hope that whoever has passed goes on to a good afterlife.
Yeah, because also it's like the camp regularly burns portions of their meal as an offering to their godly parents. So the idea of burning something, just sending it up,
Yeah.
is, even though the underworld is like underground, but like
Yeah.
that's part of it as well. And then I like how Rick Riordan really brings it back at the end after Luke has taken his own life to stop Kronos from being able to take over.
Yeah.
And then he dies. And then when everyone else shows up and it's just Percy and Annabeth with Luke's body, Percy says, bring a shroud for the son of Hermes.
Yeah.
To like communicate that at the end they brought Luke back into the family
Yeah.
fold, and to have that. And there's a lot of feelings about this.
Yes.
There's a lot of thoughts we have about this, but pulling back like that, we have established this shroud ritual from the jump. And also if they go on a quest and they don't die, they get to burn their own shrouds.
Yeah.
Because it's the camp make it. So like
Yeah.
it's like kind of a gag at first because
Yeah.
the Ares cabin made Percy's shroud and they don't like him.
Yeah.
So Percy's really jazzed he gets to burn this
Yeah.
on his way back. Like it's a, hey, you didn't die this time, so you get to be the one to burn this thing that
Yes.
would have been burned with you.
Yep.
And so it's introduced as like a silly kind of goof, and that it comes back at the very end to be like the idea of like having a shroud for you when you die that
Yeah.
represents who you are as part of this camp family, part of this Olympian family.
Mhm.
Damn, Fran, what a great example.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
All right, before we sign off, I got a couple excellent listener comments I wanted to share. I got one from Kiki from our episode covering the Murtagh chapter of Aragon,
Ooh.
where we asked about favorite fictional big damn hero moments.
Yeah.
Cliche as it is, Anakin saving Luke in episode 6. Especially knowing the prequels, it's devastatingly beautiful seeing Anakin become Anakin again for his son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then got another comment regarding Worshippers of Hellgrind and the Razak's Revenge episode, where we asked for examples of fun dragon media, because I think that's when we launched the Dragon's Keep.
Yeah.
Kiki said, the Dragon Keeper series by Danita K. Powell
Yes.
and or Dragons in Our Mist by Brian Davis. I definitely let them know, hey, we've done the first one. You could listen to it right now.
Yep.
And they did. Thanks for joining us, Kiki.
Yes.
We got a comment from Instagram user VLSMP, and it was when I had first posted I reposted our Instagram reel of our trailer with our new art.
Oh, cool.
And their comment was, the timing of this couldn't be better. Just started rereading the cycle yesterday.
Oh,
And I'm
yay.
like, wow, that
Yeah,
is so good.
that's
Thanks
very
for
cool.
joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. And then shout out to Owen from our last episode for perspective shifting. Just looked at my shelf and remembered that the 5 Ancestor series has a different POV for every book and then one you don't expect to have.
Oh, very good.
And I'm always jazzed when there's one that's an unexpected, like you think you know the pattern and then it catches you off guard in the
Yes,
narrative.
absolutely.
Always down for that. Thank you all so much for joining us. And Fran,
Yes, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
for
Fran.
joining us. Fran, please tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, I can do that. So if you are interested in Percy Jackson, which if you aren't, fair enough, you can find my podcast, The Best Damn Camp, pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts. It's mostly on Spotify now, I think, is like the main things, which, I mean, Spotify kind of sucks, but it's fine. Yeah. So The Best Damn Camp on there, I go through the books in timeline order. There was only one time when I got the timeline wrong, and it forever haunts me.
I'm so sorry. For
Yeah.
What's a hard one to do?
It is. I don't know why I did that to myself. But yeah, and if you like critical looks at the Percy Jackson series, that is my vibe. It's not everyone's vibe, so please do not if you do not want to hear critical vibes.
But if you listen to this show, I think you will be on the same Fran, you'll be on the same vibe as what Fran's show is going for, a critique of a piece of media that you love. We wouldn't do this if we didn't actually like the damn thing.
Yep.
Exactly. And yeah, so that is the podcast. And if you are interested in fantasy books, specifically those that are gay, The Spiral of Life, which is my Celtic mythology young adult fantasy, is out right now. The sequel is hopefully coming either end of this year or early next year, which is very exciting. It will be part of a trilogy, so keep an eye out for all of that.
Ooh.
I also have a Sapphic Tarzan retelling. If you kind of like more sort of like slow burn, soft, angsty, very found family vibes. It's all about a little one who is raised by a pack of wolves and all of the intense family love that goes alongside all of that. And that is Home to the Wild and Way of the Wild. All under the name Francesca McMahon. You can find me on social media at A Dose of Fran, and I'm sure Darien will drop all the links. So
Links
you'll be
to
able to
all
find
the
everything.
things in the show notes. Like,
Yeah.
obvi links in the show notes. Fran, thank you so much for
Yes,
joining
thank
us.
you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, perfect timing. Literally, I'm going to take you to the airport as soon as we're done recording.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cry because Fran's been here for a week and now they're going back home, if you couldn't tell by the accent, to the UK. So I'm
far.
fine. It's fine. All my friends left. Lucy's still here, though. Lucy
here.
can't go
No,
anywhere.
I'm like 2 minutes away.
Lucy's 2 minutes away. I was going to take Lucy home.
Yep. I gotta
But,
go work.
Thank you, Fran, for so much for joining us. This was so fun. Thank you for being our very first guest
Yes, thank
on
you.
the podcast.
And thank you also, folks. I'm now actually going to go buy the books when I get back to the
Yay! Yeah.
And then, dear listeners, if you know of any other folks who are engaging in loving criticism of their favorite media, if they're on Instagram, if they're on another podcast, like if you know anyone that you think you would like to hear us have on the show, like feel free to let us know. Because I think we want to have more guests.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be cool to bring on folks that our listeners would be excited about. And not just, all of my friends are cool. So, like, and they'll bring fun things. So you're going to like that regardless, I'm pretty sure. But, like, it would be also cool to, like, be able to do this in a different way than what I've engaged with in other things. So if you know anybody who loves the Aragon books or loves fantasy and engages it in the same way that we engage with it, drop us an Instagram DM. Let us know. We'll reach out to them and see if they'd be interested.
Yeah.
But thank you to our dear listeners for spending time with us today.
Yes, thank you.
We so appreciate it. Go follow Fran on all of the things.
Yes.
Go read Fran's books. You'll like them. I promise. They're good. I also own them.
Also, they are in libraries, and you can order them into libraries if you want to support, and you should support local libraries.
Your local
Yes.
libraries.
Absolutely.
Everywhere in the world, but especially here in the U.S. Hey!
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, this was Fran.
Yeah!
And she's Lucy Hart.
And she's Darien Smart.
And this was Aragon.
And back again.